Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your magical moon message. Bow. This is the Peace Dealer, the Peace of Dealer, Dealer of Peace, and I have a very urgent magical moon message for you. I honestly knew, and when I say I knew this, not like I'm the one oracle who knew and no one else knew, but I knew, like many people who don't even know astrology but still could read it in the air, knew that around this time into June this year is going to be crazier than last year. I just didn't know it was going to happen like this, in the sense where, oddly enough, we're having yet another shooting of an unarmed individual inciting riots. It's very interesting. Only because since the apocalypse cycle started last year, March 2020, with Mars as a part of a quadruple conjunction in Capricorn, Mars is finally about to enter Cancer, completing the initialization of this apocalypse cycle, sparking it off with war. Pestilence is already ravaged. And so keep that in mind where you see people rioting, fed the fuck up with what's happening with the failure of the justice system to properly execute law, while simultaneously having to deal with media manipulation to make you distrust the police. It happens on both sides. Regardless, all of this is seeding tension, and this tension is going to lead into an all-out war. Not in the way you will expect, though, but keep that in mind, because people are already still mad about George Floyd last year, and knowing that Mars is about to oppose Pluto, I really need you to understand why shit is about to go crazy coming into the summer. And it all starts even more now because the moon is in Taurus, so we are manifesting our mutant powers. Mutant, of course, denoting to a genome within that, with Pluto in Capricorn, is actively awakening to transform through Uranus and Taurus unconventional and extra-dimensional attributes in your own physiology. Moon in Taurus is second house to the sun in Aries, and so the spirit of exaltation in the spirit of Aries individually, that represents how you identify yourself, is manifesting with your soul or the moon exalted in Taurus to make you exceptionally receptive to your clairs, as Taurus represents the five senses, the magnanimity of this spiritual life force essence that you are not only manifesting into your body relative to the decade-long cyclical awakening through Jupiter and Saturn of your own conscious self, but also with Uranus literally drawing from the extra-dimensional causal realm of the mind to activate and manifest supernatural ability from the genome of your DNA, ruled by Saturn, which correlates to your bones, because the essence of this power is in your bones, directly manifesting unconventionally, electrically, all right, through the neural auto-nervous system that carries information from your blood to heart and all that bullshit, because biology is not what we think it is. No disrespect to hardworking biologists who've provided us at least a little bit of information to work off of, but it's going to be a day like today that you realize that there are, extra dimensional properties to your body that you were not taught. And many of you have long since been expressing and have been told you're crazy when you're really a fucking genius. So listen here, you cannot blame anybody else for not being able to see into the value of your genius. You're a pioneer. You cannot play victim and be like, well, people don't believe me. People don't accept me. You need to keep it moving and invent what other people will never invent, because you're the pioneer. You're the genius that's going to reach out to the few other people who now understand what they're experiencing because you gave a voice to it. And so many of you, you're going to unconventionally activate and come into greater awareness of your psychic abilities in ways you haven't before. This is not new. You've done this every year, but relative to previous years where you weren't necessarily as conscious of this phenomena, or last year where you were, but you didn't know what the fuck was happening. Now you know what the is happening, okay? With the knowledge of Aquarius that's going to be squaring this, you are having to actually bridge and integrate the higher knowledge of what's happening with your real-time sensing physically, Taurus, of this phenomena. But I don't know how else to say this other than in X-Men, during puberty, or at certain stages after one reaches their Saturn return or they turn 30, they manifest their mutant abilities. Some people are late bloomers, the 90s generation, and other people got their powers earlier. Anyone born before the 90s, the 80s kids, the 70s babies. Yes. So this is literally happening. And it's not like it's happening all at once. It's been happening, but it's a transit like this with the moon in Taurus that's going to be squaring Aquarius that's going to make you have to be careful about Scorpios and Leos, because they're going to be super sensitive to this, because they're going to have to be harnessing the strength and interacting with your awakening by providing source energy from their own essence, which they don't even really mess with you like that. And so Leo's going to have to pretend to like you, and Scorpio's just going to give you more of a death stare. Please be sensitive. Don't mess with Scorpio today. Scorpio does not listen. Scorpio does not fuck with you people. I don't know. See, Scorpio is not allowed to be themselves, so they have to put on the mask. They have to be Gemini. They loathe Gemini because Gemini puts on a mask, and Gemini knows how to play both sides. Like, hi, how are you doing today? What's up? Libra too, but like Scorpio hates doing that shit. But if Scorpio knows that if they give you the death stare and threaten to take your life, you're gonna call the cops on them. So they have to do all this shit. Scorpio does not fuck with you people. There's not a single one of you people that Scorpio fucks with. If you ever see a Scorpio being nice to you or trying to, they don't mean that shit. They're holding back killing you. I had to say that. Other than that, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if the world was pure and, most people weren't fake, then we would see a beautiful side of Scorpio. But think about being a Scorpio where you're not allowed to be yourself. Literally, it's taboo. And then you have to actually still fit in and conform with society. And no, Scorpio, I see you, Scorpio. I know you hate us Geminis because we have our cake and eat it too. You feel me? Like, it is what it is. I feel like Scorpio is allowed to hate Gemini, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Other than that, no, y'all are not allowed to hate Gemini. I was just saying that. Okay. But other than that, be very mindful of Scorpio, because Scorpio, it's not fair what Scorpio's having to go through, because the wisdom of your awakening is being sponsored by them, and it's kind of like, if you put yourself in Scorpio's shoes, it's kind of like you guys have been calling them crazy their whole life, and now you're awakening power that they've been awakened to, and now y'all are acting woke like, yeah, I can do this, and you're completely forgetting that you gaslighted the shit out of Scorpio and Cancer this whole time, and now you're waking up like, yes, I can do this, like they weren't telling you, and you weren't calling them crazy. I gaslighted them too. A little bit. Not really as much as everyone else, but, Pisces too. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? You manifesting mutant abilities, and it's going to be fucking weird as shit. Because it's not going to be like the movies where you manifest it and it looks cool and it's integrated with your social life. That's years from now. It's going to be weird. It's going to be thoroughly uncomfortable, because with the influence of Uranus and Taurus, the quality with which you're going to be sensing phenomena is going to go from turning the volume knob from 5 to 96. So like, you can't even just touch things. If you have a lot of earth in your chart and water, you can't just touch things, because you might be touching the surface of someone who had an emotional meltdown, and now you're just chilling. Yeah, how you doing? Oh, snap. Oh, fuck. That person almost died yesterday, and I feel that. You can't. That's an exaggerated version, but people live like this every day. So the energy is so that people who are even dull and are not usually conscious of this are going to be conscious of this. And it's a whole new wave. So really keep this in mind, because this is going to lead from Moon in Taurus to the full moon in Scorpio. So whatever is starting right now. which is the manifestation of your mutant abilities in a way that happened last year, but this year you actually know what's happening. So it's going to be fucking insane, because a lot is also going to start making sense with the sextile of the moon to Neptune. And I sound like I know what I'm saying, but everything I'm saying is less than 1% of what's actually happening. So don't be fooled by my Geminian intelligent sounding ways. I'm just breaking this down in the most base way, because the most important thing I can say is you're fucking manifesting mutant abilities. Because when the moon goes into Gemini, you're going to gain an intellectual experience perceiving this, and when the moon goes into Cancer, you're going to define your character by how you use these mutant abilities. But you need to know that today your mutant abilities are manifesting. Now, actual sight, because Taurus is your physical ability to see. Sagittarius is the perception of sight, your chorea that takes light in and enables you to actually see that. The perception of sight is Sagittarius, but your ability to see, the physical senses, is Taurus. A lot of people mistaking that with Sagittarius. So if it wasn't for Taurus, you wouldn't be able to see anything. Your actual eyes and physical sense is Taurus, but the perception of visual seeing with all your senses is Sagittarius. So this is very important because the South Node is in Sagittarius, and you're pretty much reworking your ability to actually perceive reality in correlation to mutant abilities manifesting, and everyone has a unique mutant ability. So coming into the full moon, you're learning how to integrate your unique ability and how your unique abilities clash with other people's abilities, and how you're destined to work through that clash in weird shonen anime fashion. Did you know you're in an anime? Because if you didn't, you're not in a rom-com, you're not in a live action film, you're not even a movie, you're in an anime. It's like a 13 season anime. Some of you are like third season antagonists. You don't even know it until today. You're about to have your moment where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm siding with the dark. Some of you don't even know you protagonists. By the way, just because you're a protagonist does not mean you're a hero. Some stories make villains the protagonist. So keep that in mind. There's no such thing as a hero and a villain, but there is such things as mutant powers. And if you have awakened supernatural genetics in your body, regardless of your race, because every heritage inherits some kind of cursed technique or power from your ancestry, study up. Well, if you know, you're going to manifest that. If you don't know, you're still going to manifest that. You're just going to be very shocked about why you're sensing everything very uncomfortably. It's not going to be until the moon goes into Libra and Scorpio that these senses are now more manageable because of balance. So enjoy. This is going to be weird as fuck, but you're going to really feel more empowered as ever, because you're going to harness an aspect of yourself tangibly that you can actually now use to shift your own reality. You've always had superpowers, but you're manifesting these abilities at a higher level to actually incorporate them in your everyday existence. Welcome to the new age of the gods. We're going to destroy this world and create a new one. If you're born after 95, you're creating the new world. Peace.